Something big is happening right now with gold and silver, the likes of which could change everything, from the value of the dollars in your wallet to the future of the global monetary system itself. And it all has to do with the COMEX, the Center for Paper, Gold, and Silver Trading. Right now, record deliveries of physical gold and silver are on the move. But this isn't a one-off spike. It's consistent, large-scale, and eerily quiet, meaning that there is something much bigger happening behind the scenes. The quantities alone tell us that this is not regular retail buying. This is institutional level, the kinds of buyers who move early and with good reason. So the question remains, what do they know about what's coming next that we don't? Because while massive amounts of gold are leaving the COMEX, the United States is also importing record-breaking amounts of gold. This is not a coincidence. This is a coordinated effort and a clue for the rest of us by those who see the storm before it hits. But do not worry, because in the next few minutes, I will show you exactly what is happening, why this is the clearest signal yet that our entire financial system is shifting, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. But do not skip this foundational part, as it is essential to understanding the clues that the COMEX holds. Historically, the U.S. has not been a large importer of gold. And when I say not large, I actually mean small, near non-existent compared to some other nations. But in January of this year, all of that started to change. In fact, Q1 of 2025 saw a 17x increase in gold imports to the United States compared to Q1 of the year prior. That is a massive spike. We're talking huge. Now, the official messaging for this spike was that it was tariff fears and shifting global trade routes, which on the surface sounds reasonable enough until you look a little bit deeper at the COMEX. Most people think of the COMEX as a paper market for gold and silver, not physical, and that's because at its heart, it's a speculative market designed for trading metals futures, not designed for selling and delivering truckloads of gold and silver. In fact, for decades, less than 1% of all COMEX contracts resulted in someone taking the actual physical metal. The other 99% of the time, everyone was settling, closing out their positions, or settling in cash. No gold bars, no silver bars, no tangible physical delivery. But today, something has changed. Physical deliveries are now blowing past anything we've ever seen in modern history. We're talking about thousands of contracts being requested for delivery, meaning millions of ounces of physical gold and silver are being pulled from the system and into private hands. Every month, with the exception of June, has seen a major spike year over year in gold deliveries. This isn't a one-off event. This is the new norm. It's a pattern emerging by those who know something. Now, August of last year saw about 22,000 contracts requested for delivery. As of filming this video today, it is August 14th. While I'm filming this, we see 29,127 contracts having already been requested for the month, and we're only halfway through, putting us on track for another record-breaking month. But these aren't any small numbers. We are so accustomed these days to hearing things in billions and trillions that you might be thinking, okay, 30,000, what's the big deal? But on the COMEX, every contract represents 100 troy ounces. So 30,000 contracts requested for delivery means 3 million ounces of gold so far in August requested for delivery. We're talking over $10 billion worth of gold being physically delivered. This is institutional level buying, and more importantly, institutional level holding. Because here's where things get even more interesting. The timing of all of this. We have record imports, record delivery requests. But at the same time, the Federal Reserve quietly publishes a research note outlining how a gold revaluation, an official government U.S. gold revaluation, could be used to help us with our debt crisis. Think about that. For decades, gold has sat on our balance sheet at an artificially low price of $42.22, grossly undervalued compared to fair market value. Now, if we were to revalue the gold here in the United States, the book value would be updated without having to sell a single ounce, creating hundreds of billions, if not trillions, in profit. which is why many analysts believe that the recent surge in imports to the United States and delivery requests are not an accident, that it is institutional players and, dare I say it, potentially sovereign actors who are positioning themselves ahead of the United States, making gold play a more prominent role on the global stage moving forward. Not to get too speculative, but even last week's drama around U.S. tariffs on Swiss gold bars raised more questions than it answered. In case you missed it last week, everyone was convinced that the United States was going to be tariffing gold bar imports from Switzerland, which caused gold futures to rise as panic around accessibility to the precious metal skyrocketed. Then, almost as abruptly, President Trump announced that there would be no tariffs on gold imports. Now, some say it was a classic mix-up and bad communication. Others say that it was a classic negotiating tactic to get Switzerland to the table, but some still say maybe there was a deeper tie to gold at play, a test run to see what would happen if accessibility to gold was cut off. I doubt we'll ever know for sure, but one thing is certain. Paper, gold, and silver markets work until they don't. Now, I don't ever want to be in a position where I have to wait and find out that my paper is not as good as gold. What I mean by that is that there are a lot of financial instruments and paper options around precious metals, gold and silver. But at the end of the day, if there were tariffs imposed, if suddenly we didn't let more gold in, if overnight there was a revaluation and demand skyrocketed, your odds of getting your hands on your physical metals are going to diminish significantly. You'd be lucky if you got them, if history is any indicator of what we could expect to happen today. And with all of these different moving parts happening right now, I truly believe that this is a warning signal for everyone who's paying attention, that now is the time to make sure that you're protected with physical gold and silver, the real deal. Something that you hold in your hand, that you can touch, feel, and you know is yours. Not a speculation, not a paper promise, but the real deal. Because when all of this comes to fruition, you are going to wish you had your real gold and silver and not be left holding the bag. Because what if they say, okay, great, we'll cash you out? Well, we know what's going to happen to the dollar, right? If there's a gold revaluation, if the government continues printing, if we're in this position where we need to have gold bail us out, well, what's going to happen to the value of your dollar? It is going to be reduced significantly. In fact, again, if we look at history, we see that during these currency life cycles, the value of fiat paper currency basically goes to nothing. And if you want to learn more about that, about history and where we are in today's timeline and the triggers that we're studying today that we've seen play out in other currency life cycles, we do have an incredible, completely free resource you can download. It is called our Built to Endure report. You can download it by scanning the QR code, or there's a link down below in the description. Either way, get your copy because it is packed with good information, and I believe everyone should have a copy of it downloaded. But if you are looking for that signal, now is the time. Not a day from now, not a week from now, not a year from now. Get it in place. That way you don't have to stress. You can go to bed with peace of mind. You can wake up happy knowing that your wealth is protected. That's how I feel every day, and that is what I want for everyone else out there watching. So if you are ready to get a strategy in place with physical gold and silver, talk to one of our expert analysts. Call us today at the number below or set up a time that works best for you. There's a Calendly link in the description below. You can use the QR code again, whatever is easiest for you. And even if you already have physical gold and silver, but you want a second opinion to, again, make sure you're positioned correctly for what's coming next, call us at the number below or set up a time that works best for you. We are here to help. And as always, I so appreciate you being here. I'm Taylor Kenny with ITM Trading, your trusted source for all things gold, silver, and lifelong wealth protection. Until next time.